It should be recording, I believe. I'm trying to see if it is. Sure. It is recording. Okay, I couldn't tell. I'm like looking at it going, I don't know. So, and then minimize this. All right, well, good morning, everyone. Today is our second Cpoc meeting for the school year. And remember that Cpoc is our Campus Performance Objective Committee. And so we look at a lot of stuff considering like data, calendar, all those types of things. And so we are going to be talking about a whole lot of information today. But before we get started, I wanted us to do something that we haven't done before. Well, I mean, we've been trying to do some icebreakers with our presentations. And so my first one, and it's going to come up here in just a minute. It takes a little bit. I don't know why. But our first one, I wanted us to do a Mentimeter. You know, this month for our Bringing Out the Best, which shows our character education for this month and next month, gratitude is our word of the month. And so with that being said, since that's our focus, what are you grateful for? So get out your phones. And the code, you're going to go to www.menti.com. And then the code is, if in case you can't see it, because it's kind of small up there, it's 3499-1787. Okay, so again, menti.com, and the code is 3499-1787. And you'll type in things, and you can do more than one, but just type in something or some things that you are grateful for. So we can start seeing, and I'm hoping, oh yeah, it worked. So like I'm sure, because I had to copy and paste, so it did work. Somebody said my family and my teaching partners, and it should just start popping up as soon as people start putting things in. Health, yes, that's a great one. My mom, my kids, health, life, health, strength, a sound mind, and all of you, my team, or my family, my health, family, friends, students, smiles, my girls, and I'm not sure, I'm not gonna be able to scroll it. Oh, yes, I am. Okay, good. My family and great coworkers, my family and support system, my warm house. Yes, with this cold weather, I'm very thankful, because if y'all remember Snowmageddon last year, not all houses were warm. And so we're very thankful for that. Support a family, waking up on this side of the dirt. That's a great way to put it there. My dad, kids and granddaughter, my team, World Series Astros. I could kind of guess one of the people who might have put that. My wife, my team. And so you guys, you can see, grateful for you, Michelle. Thank you for me. Oh, thank you guys. I wrote that myself, you guys. Awesome, you guys. So this is, obviously you can keep putting stuff up there. This is a great thing though, you guys, to do to remind us that we have lots to be grateful for. And so, you know, remember, we are the example for our kids of lifelong learning, but we're also the example of these words for our kids. And so we've been talking about it every morning and talking about gratitude. And so just something for you to know that this is something that you can do even with different things, you know, with your kids, with their devices. All they have to do is go to menti.com. And so it's a super easy thing to do. And it is free. It is a free resource that you can use as well. And so, and you can obviously pay for a service to do more, but it is, you can get so many as well. So I just wanted to do that because I think it's a great reminder for us to remember and to be grateful. Now let's see if I can figure out how to get through the rest of this now. And I'm gonna have to do it again because that one doesn't work the way it's supposed to all the time. Okay. So let's move on. So this is our agenda for today. We have several things to cover. It may not look like a whole lot, but we do have celebrations that we're going to be talking about. We're going to look at our CIP and data, and I'm hoping my link works to that. Sometimes our CIP system has not been working the way it needs to this season around this year. I don't know what the deal is. We're also going to talk about Title I. We're going to talk about field trips, and then we're going to talk about our calendar, at least up until December. We've got more happening in the spring, and we're going to touch base on a few things in that. But this is just at least through the month of December until our next Cpoc meeting, which I believe is in January. We have 5 this year, I believe. Okay, so looking at our celebrations, you guys, we have a lot to celebrate. October, I think somebody referred to it as Shocktober, and I really kind of think that's kind of right. In fact, I was talking to a principal yesterday at my principal meeting that she's a new principal, by the way. And so we were talking, I said, well, how are things? And she goes, whoa, she goes, I just didn't even know. And I said, yeah, I said, because I think too, we got used to how COVID was. And like we had slowed down so much and did so little with COVID that now we're back to what we normally were, but yet we forgot like what we normally were. It's kind of like when we start the school year, we forget that they start as where they start because they ended with us, at a very different level in that grade level. And we forget that. And we forget also too, how much it takes with procedures. The mind tends to forget sometimes. And so I think that that's where we're at, but we did have a lot happening in October and November, lots to celebrate that I wanted us to really reflect on today. First off, we had our first instructional night and we had great attendance with our families. And I know we are trying to do it to where we can start at 6, but you guys, sometimes the things that we're needing to cover, we start at 5:30 just because of so much that we have to do. For example, when we did the instructional night, we did the title meeting at 5:30 to 6 so that we could have at least that good hour for instructional night. Because we're not only thinking about all that we have to do, but we also have to get kids home in time for them to be able to get to bed in time, as well as I have to get you home. That's part of the issue too. Sometimes, like for example, we've got a holiday program coming up, which I'm super excited about. Robbie King does amazing things with our kids. But those holiday programs, because we're doing different grade levels, in order to be able to get it all in, we're having to start at 5:30 because we're having to offer also the time with the kids singing, but then also the transition with parents coming in and out. And so there's lots of factors that we consider. We try this as much as we can. Like I know we've got a first and second grade program in the spring that they won't start until like 6 o'clock. But sometimes because of like kindergarten, we're doing 3 grade levels at Christmas. So we're having to do that transition in between, as well as that 5:30, starting at 5:30, so we get it all in and still get kids home in time because it's a school night, and also get you home with your family. So there's whole lots of factors to consider. But we did have the first instruction night. We kicked off house team points as well, which I gotta get points though. We've had 2 winners so far. We've had the red team and the purple team. And the last that I looked, and today we're going to get points too, but the last that I looked, I think yellow team is in a little bit time. Because yellow and yellow wants to be in the lead, so yellow are doing better this month. So one thing that got them points today is they got a team shirt. They got a team shirt. That was one thing. So anyway, we got that going on, and the flags are at the front and the back. So you guys make sure you point that out to your kiddos. We got red and purple team things passed out to the kids, I believe, a day or so ago, that they should have it for their lanyards, the prizes for them. So that's one thing we did. We also had our Hero Dads kick off, and we have had Hero Dads in the building volunteering. So that's exciting. We had a great fall book fair night that was tied into Hero Dad, so we had a tremendous turnout. We also had Halloween Day, and we had a special guest visitor. Janet Hoover was here and read to a few classes, and so that's a picture of her. And then we did Rock Your School Day too in October, and so I just pulled one picture. I had tons, but I just pulled one picture because our kindergartners got to visit Peggy. And so they crawled in underneath, but I know a lot of y'all did things. We had black light rooms. We had one collaborative area turned into a campsite. I know we did STEAM activities and other classrooms. So you guys, it was a full day of learning. But you guys, that's one thing that when the district visits us that they talk about constantly is our continual engagement and how highly engaged the kids are. And that is a true reflection of you. And again, it's doing things like this. Yes, it takes extra effort, we know, and everything like that, but it's doing things like that that it builds the engagement of our kids, and you are doing that every day. And that's something that when district is here, we get constant comments about how the high level engagement. But I'm going to talk with y'all about something though that they tell us we need to work on. So it's not a bad thing. It's actually a really easy fix if y'all do it. So Katie's shaking her head because Katie and I have already talked about it. Some other celebrations that we had, you guys, the pumpkins were amazing. Amazing. And so I just picked again, I had tons of pictures. We worked to try to share that on social media. But that's just one picture that I had. We also had an awesome turnout for our storybook character day. And I know I got some feedback from some of you on that, but again, stars and wishes. I know some of the ideas that came about were maybe looking at doing 2 grade levels at a time and different things like that. So we're definitely considering that feedback. Because again, it was our first time to have parents at the event, and I was so awesome though. And you guys, we challenged you to do vocabulary, and a lot of you did. First grade did what there was an old lady who swallowed or fly or whatever, and so this one she enjoyed a bat, and so they were using different vocabulary words, which again, vocabulary is a push for us, so that's huge. And again, Hero Dads are here. That's Mr. Perez right there. Then we had Veterans Day last Friday, which was absolutely phenomenal. And this is a picture of movie night. If you did not stay for movie night, y'all, again, we were all, as we're going through it, okay, we can do this next year, we do this next year, and even just brainstorm, because you guys, if we continue to do it, we're gonna have to offer more than one movie, plain and simple, but we also have to look at capacity and different things like that. So, but it was a great turnout, and everyone that was there had a great time, and we had a lot of staff stay. So if you stayed, thank you so much. You guys, that's one thing I can brag about here at Hoover. I've worked at another campus, been a principal at another campus, and it was so hard to get some staff to sometimes stay after hours. And you guys, I've never had a problem with that here. Y'all are always so willing to get in and serve our kids. And so thank you for that. But those are the things we can celebrate. So you guys give yourselves a round of applause. Great things are happening. This is another celebration, you guys. We are always working on communication, and we utilize multiple modes to communicate. We utilize Remind, we utilize our school messenger, we utilize our social media sites. We do some paper, we don't use as much paper as we have in the past, because again, we found that digital resources are really a great thing, but we do all kinds of modes of communication. But one thing, and I know I've talked about this as a staff, we actually are the #1 usage of Remind as an elementary school in the district. And because of that, I actually had the opportunity to go and actually be a part of, actually, I ended up being the only principal there to be able to give feedback to the Remind team and work to make their platform even better. And so that's one thing that we did. But I wanted to show you, we had 515 messages delivered on Remind last month. 1,330,909 messages were delivered in the last year. And so this is just a graph of that. Yes, Ms. Abuka. Well, and we find that people look at pictures more. So that's one reason we're huge with our graphics. So, but I just wanted to give you a kudos, because you guys, it's not just me using Remind, it's you using Remind. And that's one reason. And thanks for, yes. Well, and you guys, the translation is not perfect. It is not perfect. And I understand that, but we want to reach all of our families. And so that's one reason we work to do the translation. And thankfully, the Remind is always working to better that translation as well. They actually use a company called Album, which actually is a company we use in our district too for translation. And so that is one thing that it does do well. But again, this is just gives you an idea of how much we're utilizing Remind and what a powerful tool it is. Because I know just last night alone, I was messaging back and forth with about probably 10 families about lunches today. So, and it does say that it's after my hours, it's outside of my hours, but I was working and it came up and I was like, I got to answer the questions, and so, but again, it's a great tool. So if you're not utilizing it effectively, you guys, you can't even schedule messages to go out. So you don't have to, that's one thing, I schedule them out as much as I can. I've already got some out for RSVP for Winterfest as reminds for parents. And so you can schedule them out. It's a great tool that continue to use. And if you're not using it, pull into that. Okay. Moving on into our agenda, we're going to look at our campus improvement plan. Remember, at our last meeting, we talked about our four goals. And just to update, the school board did approve all of the campus improvement plans. So they are, if they're not already on the website, they will be on the website for you to access. But we do have our 4 goals of academic achievement, safe and healthy learning environment, human capital, and family and community engagement. And so I wanted to kind of go through, I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping my link will work. Because yesterday, some days it kind of does, and some days it kind of doesn't, and it kicks me out. So I'm hoping it will come up so that we can kind of see it. We will see if it does. Hopefully. Oh, yay, it's going to work today. Thank God. So anyway, so if you'll look at it, I wanted to go through and kind of show you, not only do we have these goals, but in addition to these goals, we have activities that we have committed to do. And then we have reviews of our campus improvement plan that we do so many times a year. So like November is a review time, and I've actually already reviewed it yesterday because I have to go in and look at the progress that we have made. And so I wanted to kind of go through it with you, and so that you would know, okay, so one of our, and so they're not activities, they're strategies. I used the wrong word. So one of our strategies for goal 1 is all teachers will be trained in the strategies of 7 steps to a language-rich interactive classroom, which promotes building vocabulary. If you will remember, we have done that. Melissa started it with you in the spring, or actually in the fall, when y'all first kicked off, when we did the first planning day. And then she wrapped it up right before she went on a maternity leave a couple of weeks ago during a faculty meeting. So you can see I've put that we have about 40% that we've done. That means that we have made progress towards it. Have we reached it yet? No, because right now we've had the strategies taught to you. Now the work is on the implementation in your classroom. And so again, as we go through it, we do another formative review in February and then another formative review in the end of the year. And so again, we're at about 40% right now, because again, we've rolled it out. You're working to implement it, but we're in the implementation stages of it. Okay, then we got strategy 2, again, intentional purposeful planning. They'll collaborate to better implement explicit small group instruction. Again, I put 50% on that because when I do walkthroughs in the classrooms, in the math classroom specifically, because that's what this one is working on, we are pulling small groups. In fact, that is an expectation that Hoover is small groups. And so you do see that. And so then we also have through intentional and purposeful planning, they'll better implement the use of manipulatives. Again, 50%, because when we go out in the classrooms, we see that teachers are regularly using manipulatives. And so because of that, we're about halfway there, because we're almost not quite halfway through, but we're getting close to halfway through the year. And so you want to make sure that you're making, and we are making that progress. We've got some that we still need to work on. So, I mean, I totally, science, again, hands-on learning and building hands-on science investigation and building vocabulary. Again, all of you have word walls, and that is part of the building vocabulary. And it's not just reading word walls you have. We see math, we see science as well when we go out into the classrooms. And then also we do have the hands-on science, because I see the budget that comes across every week of us buying things for the hands-on science materials. And so that's the reason I know. So again, 50% on that. And then we're going to do nutrition and fitness and related to campus and district levels. Again, I put 30% on this, because again, we still haven't done field day. We're still working, and I know that there are assessments that Bree will do in the gym, different things like that. So again, we're still making progress on that, but we're not where we want to be, obviously. Here's where we're going to eliminate the learning gap, provide at least 25 minutes of targeted instruction. And again, this is our power hour time. We're 50% because we walk around during power hour time. We're utilizing that time effectively to really intervene and close the gaps. Okay, and then the well-rounded educations, they'll have the opportunity to participate in the following enrichment programs, and that is like house teams, makerspace, the different things that we offer. Again, we're 50% because we are working to do it. It is occurring, it is happening. And then all at-risk students with identified area of need based on STAR district progress monitoring will be provided additional academic support based on their specific academic needs. We are at about 40%, 40 to 50%, because again, we do have temporary workers. We do have interventions going on, all of those things. So we are working on that. And then our ESSER 3, again, we're going to use those funds, and we are about, what did I put there? Sorry, I can't see it. We're at 40% there because we are doing things with our ESSER funds. We're doing the workday camps, but up to now we've only had one, because we didn't do it in September because we were working to get everything in line, as well as figure out which kids we needed to invite because we were working to collect that data. So we've only had one, but we will have another one in January, and all of the other teacher work days, those workday camps for our kids. We do a morning and an afternoon. Right now we've been focusing on first and second. We will look as we move into the spring at kindergarten to see if we need to offer to kindergarten, but that's kind of where we are with that. And then also staffing, we will do core content area and interventionists, and I put 100% because we are staffed in those areas. And so they are working to do those jobs because we do have those staff in place. And then intervention opportunities to occur during the day. Again, I put 100% because we do have our temporary workers in place, as well as our interventionists. We really work to try to guard their time so where they're not being pulled, but they're able to do their intervention. Sometimes, obviously, if we're very short, we do have to try to work sometimes a split schedule, but we are working to guard their time to do intervention. And then our state comp ed, again, those are our interventionists, so 100% because we are fully staffed with our intervention, and that's what's paid with state comp ed. And then we know too that we are working to get our kids on the reading levels by the end of the year. Again, we're about 50%. We are making progress. We're doing a lot of intervention, and I'm extremely excited to say, I think we started America, and Leanne, you'll help me. We started, I think, with 48 kids that we call bubble kids that are right on the cusp of being on level in second grade. And America, I know, was targeting right from the beginning, the ones that we had. We've gone from 48 to 18. And so we are America and the team on the team of teachers. Because it's not just America. I know the teachers are working on that too, but America is supporting them. But that's huge. And we've made a lot of growth even with first grade. I can't remember the numbers right off the top of my head. Yes, so we've been able to get them off of that reading readiness level and onto where they need to. So good job, first grade and our SGRI teachers as well. So that's extremely exciting. Okay, and so this, and then strategy 2, Heggerty. We've got Heggerty going on into all our classes, again, 50% because we're only halfway through the year, but Heggerty is happening. And then for math, we are going to determine the students' misconceptions and strengths to develop intentional small group lessons. Again, 40% because we're still 40 and 50% is where we're at. And then all teachers will implement purposely designed number talks, 50% because I'm seeing number talks happening in the classrooms. And those are the ones for us when we look at our academics. And I'm trying to watch my time, you guys, because I know I've got to make sure and get us out of here. But there's a lot to cover. So our next one that we'll look at here, in that where I will tell you, let's see if I can get back there. Okay, there we go. In goal 2, we are looking at student safety. Again, we are all up to date. In fact, we have actually had the state level audits that is happening. It's only happened at 6 campuses so far, but we're one of the ones that have already gone through it. And so because of that, we did actually do very well on our state audit, and then just like every other campus. And what Chief said yesterday in our meeting is when there is even a corrective action plan that has to be put in place, he's not worried about that because this isn't a bad thing. It's that we're checking the work to see where we can do better. And so he said, even the things that have come up, he said, I'm not concerned about. He said, because we actually are ahead of the game as far as the district in the state goes, as far as our safety and security measures. So we do have to do regular door checks, which Christy has been on top of. And then also the state did come in, and I think we had a classroom door, and what was the other one? 2 classroom doors. And again, he also Chief talked about, we haven't had doors. And so getting used to that is part of the problem. And so again, we did a corrective action plan. We've met to deal with that. And so you know that, but that's part of it, is the safety and security. And we are up to date on our drills. There's our door checks. And again, we're about 50% on everything. Again, our emergency drills, because we're not through the year. One thing that we need to work on, and I was just working on it yesterday, so that's the reason I only put 10%, and that's we're going to look at ways to encourage student attendance, as well as there's another one for staff attendance as well. And so I was brainstorming and working on some of that yesterday. So we're not where we want to be with that, but that's where we're at, as far about 10%. Discipline, we're bringing out the best, and also SEL curriculum, we're about 40%. I know I'm working with PBIS team to better figure out how we can pull in even more SEL. But we do SEL regularly once a month. And then we also talk about our bringing out the best every day. We do that. And so just so that you know, that put us about 40%. In school suspensions, we will make adjustments throughout the year as necessary. We're also looking at our SPED African-American students they're receiving social skills. So we're about 40% on that. We're going to look at discipline data. I'm going through this fast so we can go through the rest of the data. And then SOS placements, we haven't ever had except for one, and that was our first or second year that we had that happen. And so we're at 40% on that and keeping that below. Violence prevention, we got project safety happening, just like bringing out the best. So does project safety, 40%. And so that is goal 2. Goal 3 is human capital, with working with our teachers. So again, our attendance, we're at 10% on that, about working on ways to encourage that. Plan regular celebrations and recognitions monthly to let teachers know their value at the school. And we do have one Friday a month that the A team does. And then we also have Friday that the house teams do, because tomorrow's orange team treats, I believe. Is that right, Liam? Orange team treat. So that will happen. We also just work to do everything. We've got festive Fridays coming up for those of you that are new. We do every Friday in the month from between Thanksgiving and Christmas, that we do something special, and we have a movie theme this time around. And so you're going to get to go to the North Pole Theater. So more information will be coming on that. Okay. And then we got some more stuff in the spring that we'll do with all that kind of stuff with our teacher appreciation. And then also the high quality, making sure we see needs. We provide professional development. Again, we're about 50%. We're providing professional development as much as we can. Almost every faculty meeting, we're doing professional development. And then we also have the incentive with the punch cards. That's still coming, you guys, I promise. Melissa made it for me, and I haven't had a chance to look at it. So, but it is coming, and what you've done in the past does count, just so you know that. And then also build buy-in for you teachers to attend professional development. That's what the punch card is. So for those of you that are joining as part of our community or parents, what we are doing is our teachers are taking part in professional development, and part of the incentive is that they will get like a punch card let's say we offer 10 trainings, that may be more than that. If they get 8 out of 10, then they will earn $50 towards their classroom from an approved vendor for next school year. And so that is one, it's about retaining teachers to where they'll stay here at Hoover, but then also about the incentive for growth and professional development. Okay, so that's goal 3, and goal 4 then is looking at family and community engagement. We do a campus newsletter every month. And then we also, and so we're at about 50% on that. Spencer does a great job on our newsletter. He and Josue translates it so we can do it in English and Spanish. And then we also provide opportunities for parents to take an active part in students' learning. So we've done, we did curriculum symposium, we've done movie nights, we do parent readers. We have lunch visitors today. We're working to get volunteers. I know we've got some volunteers coming to help with classroom libraries this week. So we did storybook character parade. So we will have more of those types of things in the spring and in the fall, because we also have Winterfest for parents to be able to come and take part in that as well. And so we have that, and we are looking, and we will be starting, the A team and I will be starting in the spring working towards organizing a VIPS, just a VIPS group. But to know though, there is a difference between PACE and VIPS. PACE is what is entitled. So that is what we as the school are going to provide. VIPS is volunteers. And so there is a difference between the two. And so that you know that VIPS will be our volunteer program. We've already been working to get volunteers this year, but we're going to work and streamline it more. But we needed time because there's a lot to be said about a clean beginning and a clean ending. That's totally brain-based. And so because of that, we're working to get that started. But again, PACE is what we as the school are going to provide, utilizing our title funds. But then VIPS is bringing parents along to volunteer. And so we're working to streamline that. We've already got, like I said, we've had parent volunteers, got some opportunities coming soon. In fact, in December, we'll have some opportunities. They can actually volunteer to do Winterfest if they want to work the games, and then also come to help put baggies together for that. And that's actually coming out to parents soon. And so then we also though have, again, parents to volunteer. We're about 50% of that. And so that is where we're at. We're always working to grow in that area, but that's where we're at. So I'm going to get back to our presentation if I can here. There we go. And so let's move forward and look at some data, because we're going to have to work quick, because it's 8:13. So we only have about 12 minutes to finish up before kids get here. Here's our reading data district comparison. I'm trying to get off of this so they'll have that. You have that. Oh, I didn't click back. Okay. When we look at our data compared to the district in kindergarten had 72%. We were at 65. Our target though is 55. So if looking at our end of year target is 55, and we started the year stronger than our end of year target. So that's a good thing. In first grade, let me move this here so I can see better. In first grade, we had 45% and the district was 60. But remember, we knew that going in to the school year, that first grade was going to be our area to target. We knew that. With the end of year data that we had from kindergarten, we knew that. And so again, our end of year target is 60%. We're at 45. So we will definitely get to that. We will get to that target or surpass it is the goal. Okay. And then in second grade, 45% was where we're at. The district was at 62. Again, 65% is our target, because last year we ended the year at 60%. And so we're going to work to get there as well. So again, we're not way off from the district. We are below the district in some areas, but we're not super way off. But then when you look at our data, because we also compare ourselves to our cluster, and when you look at our cluster data, why in the world did it go all the way back? Let's go here. I don't know what it is doing. Let's see here. When we look at our cluster comparison, here's our cluster comparison. As you can see, we are the greenish blue. So we're actually pretty close in line with our cluster. One thing you need to know though about our cluster, we test more kids than the other clusters do. I mean, the other groups in our cluster, because of how large our grade levels are. The only one that is comparable is MROB. And the reason MROB is comparable right now is because they are like to capacity. Exactly. They're to capacity and more, because like I was even talking with Rocio yesterday, because she's at MROB. And like, she was like, how's it work? She's like, you've been through this before. How does it work when I'm going to lose teachers to the new school? Because number 58, which opens in the fall of next year, will relieve MROB. And so the only one that's kind of comparable to us is MROB. And if you look at us, MROB is this dark purplish color, and look at how close we are to them. So you guys, we are right in line with cluster for the most part. I mean, and even if you look at like, we're above some of the cluster, like in first grade, we are concerned about our first graders, but when we look at it, we're actually higher than one of our cluster friends, and we test more kids. And so that's something to think about. And you have to look at and consider all of those things when you're looking at the data. And then with second grade, here we are again, we're pretty comparable. We weren't as high as we wanted to be in second grade, but we'll get there. Okay. So that's reading data. Then with, wait, I went backwards. Why is it doing that to me? Okay, here we go. Then we look at math data. Okay, so if this again is math data, district and target comparison. So in kindergarten, we were 76%, the district was 87. Our goal is 95%. Okay, we are below where we want to be, but this is something we are learning as we learn our kids and our campus and all that's going on. A lot of our friends have never been in school in kindergarten. Ever. They've never been exposed to any type of school. And so because of that, that's where we're seeing that there is the lower, those lower numbers, because they weren't with us in pre-K. Yes, ma'am. No, the target is our in the campus target. Yes, thank you for asking that question. Remember, we have to set targets because our goal as a district is incremental growth. But I will tell you now too, they have really hit on us this year. It's not only about incremental growth. We've got to move kids because of the fact of the gaps that are there. And to the point of way even the state is, but those are our end of campus targets. Okay, because what we do is we take what we ended the year last year in that grade level and then bump it up a few points. Again, incremental growth, so not big points, but a few points. And so, but again, it's comparing also apples to oranges, you guys, because we're comparing this year's kindergartners to last year's kindergartners. And so again, it's not even a total level comparison, but that is what we still do. Okay, then in first grade, 90% was the district, and we were at 90%. Yay! And our goal is 95%. So that's where we're running. Again, this is our checkpoints. That's what the data that the most current data that we had to go with. And then in second grade, y'all, I was super excited about this. District is at 68, we were at 65. And y'all, our target's only 35. Why is it? Because last year at the end of the year, our second grade was at 30. And so, because remember, we've talked about that there's an alignment issue, and I have brought that to district attention too. There is an alignment issue between first and second. So we're constantly having those conversations because, and even Denise and I talked about, it's not just here at Hoover, you see it across the board. When you look at all the data, I just didn't give you all the district data because like it's a lot, but we look at all the district and it's a problem across the board. It's not just us. And then if we go to our cluster, well, we are the blue again. And so again, we're right in line. And actually we are like in second, so we're like tied for third in the first grade. And then in second grade, man, look at how good we did in second grade. So you guys, those are things to celebrate. Are they where we want to be? No, but we've got to celebrate where we're at. Because when we celebrate, remember we talked about the bowlers that when they were praised for their strengths and whatever, compared to those that were just praised for the things that they need to work on, those that were praised for their strengths, they actually worked towards their strengths and did better and then grew more than the other group did. And so that's one thing to keep in mind. And I'm trying to go through this quick. Okay, now we got to look at, and I've still got an extra thing. Here's our discipline data. Okay, so y'all, it looks like October was really Shocktober even for our kids. Okay, but you also have to know that 12 right there, that's about one kid. One kid, and the kid, we're working with the child, and actually the child is no longer with us, but because they have moved. But the thing is we were working with that one child to work to try to find the best placement because it wasn't the best placement for her. But know that 12 is about one kid. And so that's the thing we have to keep in mind is it's only a handful because we even got to talking because A-Team and I've been working to streamline even the things that we're doing as far as, because we're asking y'all to do that as far as alignments in your classroom as a grade level. We're working to do that as an admin team as well. And one thing that we've even talked about is I think we figured out we have eight out of about 750 that are red kids that are really struggling. And again, most of the time, those that are struggling with behavior, there are other circumstances and situations that we are privy to. We can't share that, but that we are privy to that we know are going on that affect the behavior. And so we're working, I know with Sasha and with Josue to really work and check in on those red kids, those 8 red kids, so that we can work to try to minimize that. So we worked even just this week on it, and I've got to hurry. Okay, it's 8:20. So again, not our behavior isn't super, like, I think I figured out there was like 26. I don't know if I remember my right, but it was in the 20s, our behavior referrals, and considering that that's not bad at all. So we're still where we need to be. And then though, with our glows and grows though, this is one thing that I know Sasha shared with the team. Our goal is pre-K is the grade level with the least amount of referrals for the month of October. Y'all, that's good for pre-K. I'm telling you guys, y'all go into those pre-K classrooms and we go in regularly, but you go to those pre-K classrooms, and I know we even went with district people, and you would have not have realized that it was a pre-K classroom because they were so good at coming to school. And so that's good. Congratulations, pre-K, great job. But then we noticed though that 16 referrals were from students not keeping hands and feet to self either with the adult or a peer. And most of the time we're seeing, we did have some kids that kind of got out of control when it was over a ball or something. So, you know, because they're young, kind of learning to come to school. So that was a lot of that, but it is minimal and we are working on it. And I expect this month to be even lower. Again, October and February are your high discipline data months. It's just the time of year that it is, just so you know that. Okay, title budget though, just to kind of give you that, we do have 2 staff salaries, 4 temporary workers. We're working on field trips. We will do a spring buy one, get one book fair with our kids. That is part of our PACE because they will take those books home. Because again, anything we send home that we spend money on, that is considered PACE as well. We do have our special events that are happening. We have professional development for our staff. We have instructional nights and programs. We've done one. We have another one in the spring. We're working to fill teacher wish list. We do daily instructional materials. Like I told you, I see that come across. In fact, Denise goes shopping once a week, actually. And then we also have PBIS items that we will be buying in the spring. So just so you know. And then this isn't last, we do have field trips and special events that are happening in the spring. We have our holiday music program. Kindergarten is actually going to do an in-house field trip. They're going to visit the kitchen because they don't even have a clue that we have a kitchen right there. So they are going to visit the kitchen. We're going to be working with Connie on that. Then first grade though is going in January to Langham Creek High School to Schoolhouse Rocks Junior. And so more information will be coming on that. We're working, field trips have to be in by Friday. So we're working to get that together. Then in second grade will be going to Lone Star College because we believe that our kids need to be able to experience college. Melinda has done this field trip before. It's free. That's one thing that's nice. All we have to do is pay for transportation, but it is free and it is a good exposure to our kids to go to college. And so Melinda says that's a great field trip that she's taking part of. So again, we're doing that. Date will be announced. Then Karen Lowry, a storyteller, is going to be here a lot in the spring. Y'all got those dates last week. I believe she's doing 8 sessions with us. And then she will do a family event also that we're working to get in the calendar in the spring. Mother Goose is coming for pre-K and K in February, I believe. And then we have Annie Astronomer. Did I get that right, Laura? Okay. Annie Astronomer is coming for first and second. It's the same lady who does Mother Goose. She's doing Annie Astronomer for us this time. We also, I'm so excited. We've had Miss Abuka is one of them and Miss Rizzi. They both have gotten trained with animal demos, and we have another parent, so we're bringing animal demos in. We're super excited about that. We have field day on the calendar for the Friday before spring break. And that's also the 120th day of school for first grade. So it is. Yes, we like to stack it up, don't we? Yes, we do. And then we have our music programs because we do a first grade program and a second grade program in April. Kindergarten's a little hard just to do a full program with, so we're just going to focus on first and second. And then we have our spring book fair, which will also be tied into one of our programs that we did. We found, I know parents were like, you have it both the same night. Yes, because we find that we get a bigger turnout that way. And then we also have another family night in the spring. We're going to do a dance. I don't know how that's going to look, y'all, because I don't dance, but we're going to figure it out. So, and then we also have our spring instruction night, which will have the storyteller as part of it. So you know that. And then, oh, I went the wrong direction again. Okay, and this is our calendar upcoming. So we have special lunch visitor today. We have house teams tomorrow. We have our Thanksgiving holiday next week. You get the week off. That means you have 2 days to make an impact, 2 days. And then we have parent readers when we return. And you guys remember with all of our libraries, our guidelines state that we will provide the book. And that is also part of what we were told yesterday with all of our libraries. We provide the book so we know that it is okay to be read, but that's always been in our guidelines. We do have RSVP for Winterfest. So if you not shared that with your parents, make sure you do. I do have a remind set up. That is allowing them to get their sticker and have it ready. It'll be sent home. We have Santa picture money due because we are doing individual Santa pictures this year. And Mr. Covey, one of our former board members, is actually coming to be Santa again for us. Reindeer read aloud, Santa pictures, Polar Express Day, Winterfest bag prep and volunteer training on the 13th. More information will come out to parents on that. My goal is to have it sent out either before we leave today or on Monday when we get back. And then our holiday program, again, times will be announced as we're working those details out. And then December 16th, we will finalize before we go for winter break. And Winterfest is a fast and furious rotation day. Like rotations are like 7 minutes and you got 3 minutes transition and it's lots of fun and games and the kids love it. We will front load you though with videos. Remember, the kids will know how to play the games before they get there. And what it'll be a good day of fun. It is lots of fun, y'all. So just get ready. I told y'all it's like a roller coaster. So just so you know, and then last but certainly not least, if you want to give feedback, I have the form set up that we utilized last time. So you can use the QR code and provide any feedback or ask any questions. Sorry, it was a lot of information, you guys. McGregor, do you want us to go ahead and send Miss Abuka to help you? Go ahead and get started helping you? Yeah. But I have my computer. No, that's maybe. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, she's ready. That's the teacher. All right, those of you that joined via Zoom, thank you so much. Have a great day.